If it's not fun, don't do it. Cooking is about bringing fresh, wholesome ingredients into your body, sharing it with your family and friends, and enlivening your life. So let's dive into a wonderful fall recipe. This is a pumpkin spice muffin made with almond flour, and I recommend using blanched almond flour. Do not use almond meal. It has the skin in it and it is a rough, coarse texture. You want a nice blanched almond flour. So we'll start with the dry ingredients in one bowl. We've got the almond flour, and it's about 1.5 cups of almond flour. We'll do a 1/2 teaspoon baking soda. Don't skimp on the spices. The spices are what make it good. And so if a recipe calls for a teaspoon of spice, like forget about it, do a tablespoon. I'm telling you, it's worth it. I made this homemade pumpkin pie spice mixture, and it has that secret ingredient of allspice in it. So it is extra spicy, and you just wanna level the tablespoon with your finger and mix it up. So you always want to start with the dry ingredients in the bowl and add the wet ingredients. The wet ingredients, we've got our pureed pumpkin, which I roasted myself from the fresh pumpkin from the farm. It's delicious, it's easy to do. Check out my video on how to roast a pumpkin. You can also use the organic pumpkin from a can. You do not want to use the pumpkin pie mix from the can. That has a lot of extra sugar and the spices in it. You know, if you're in a pinch, you can use it, but then don't use the spices or the sweetener. So we've got 1 cup of the pumpkin right into a food processor or blender, 2 eggs. Get all of the egg white. We need that to set the batter. 2 tablespoons of a neutral vegetable oil. I like avocado oil or grapeseed oil. Good for the skin. And 1/2 cup of maple syrup. Yum, just use your fingers to get the rest of it out so that you can lick your finger. Maple syrup, so good. All right, we're gonna just give this a whir. Ooh. Somebody unplugged it. Ah! Take 4, give it a whir. Yeah, now we're talking. These are gonna be fun muffins. They're spicy, so you gotta have a little like spice in your stuff when you make them. All right, just puree it. Just to mix all the goodies. And like all good baking recipes, we're going to mix the liquid into the wet into the dry. So you just make a little moat in the center, and you don't want lumps in your batter, so you just stir while you're pouring the liquid in, scrape the sides. You don't want it to be salty, but you will notice if there's no salt. And then we'll go ahead and use a lined muffin tin. If you have these handy dandy silicone liners, especially in fun colors, that spices things up. These are so handy, especially when you're using alternative flours. Oops, making a mess. Goop, goop, goop. Wrong utensil. Grab a little cup and fill them up. You don't have to grease these liners because they're silicone. And we'll put these in the oven and bake them for 35 to 40 minutes. And they'll pair perfectly with a nice fall soup, or for breakfast with some scrambled eggs. They do not have any flour in them, so they're not going to rise. So we can fill them up to the top. Pumpkin spice, almond flour muffins. Oh, but wait a minute. Like, I never put anything in the oven just like that. I always add a little bit of something on top because you want that extra goodness. So let's do a little sprinkle of spice.
What is that?
This is Panela, and it's 100% unprocessed, organic, and unrefined cane sugar.
Is Panela
It's just a brand name.
Okay.
Yeah, and so what they do is they take the sugar cane and they process it minimally, which retains all of the minerals. Sugar cane is actually really full of really wonderful minerals, and so sugar that's good for you, yay! I mean, why not, right?
And that's not a commercial right there.
It actually smells really good. It kind of smells like molasses or brown sugar, but it's extra chunky, and so it makes a perfect little crumble top for these muffins. Okay, now they're going in. See, I even changed my own recipe. I don't know where this recipe came from originally. I've changed it 100 times. It's all about experimentation.
These muffins are fairly forgiving even though they're flourless, but you may want to check them at 30 minutes. Every oven is different, and make sure the toothpick comes out clean. For more healthy and nutritious recipes to spice up your life, go ahead and like and subscribe.